Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers, sovereign thinkers. Oops. Thank you for tuning in the WW3 podcast, and I fumbled there. Well, we'll do it again. Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers, sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning in the WW3 podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful realms of planet Earth. Today's date is Sunday, August 4th, 2023. This is episode 1758. The trigger for World War III just arrived, and no thank you, Kamala. Before I proceed, you can find me on multiple social media sites and podcast channels. Just type in Look Your Luck number 3, Look Your Luck Roman number 3, 3 eyes, or the Look Your Luck Roman number 3 podcast. In addition, if you have any questions, comments, and all that good stuff, sharing information, whatever you please use decorum, go to ll3.podcast@proton.me. If you want to donate, go to paypal.me or cash.app/Look Your Luck number 3. Yeah, that time of the morning, folks. Yeah, I just got up and a little bit groggy, but I'll manage. Wow. Well, hopefully have a great weekend, and we got another Bushite's birthday today, Barack Obama. So if you love him, please rise, give him the Caesar salute, and sing God Bless the Patriot, because he was one of those globalist clowns, a Bushite himself, that wants to order, but used the communist thing as a quasi masquerade. Because remember, folks, the technocrats are trying to control everybody, regardless of faction. So I just have to bring that out. And I'm proud to say I never support that man, because when I told people that, I said he's just another bend over Bob and proud, just like John McCain. Even though he's past John McCain, but his track record is still unacceptable. So I don't want to hear, oh, he was a maverick. No, he was awful, stupid, lousy. Another bellboy to the one world order. All right, so enough of the bickering here. I'm going to be reading a couple of articles, mainly commentaries, but it's interesting stuff. It's from the alt-market.us. The trigger of World War III just arrived. What are the implications for Americans? This came out yesterday, and it was written by Brandon Smith. In the year of 2024 has proven anything so far that our worries about potential outbreak of World War III are absolutely reasonable. The skeptics making accusations of conspiracy theory and doom and gloom have been proven wrong yet again. The geopolitical atmosphere is turning sour fast. I still don't think a lot of people realize how truly volatile the situation is globally right now. From my point of view, World War III has already begun, at least in economic terms. Let's not forget the fact that Ukraine is essentially a proxy for all NATO against Russia, and the situation in the Middle East is about to become much worse. Because of the alliances involved in the fragile nature of global energy exports, there is a danger of systemic collapse should a wider bar break out between Israel and multiple Arab nations. It appears that such a war is imminent. But why should Americans care? It's pretty simple. War spurs shortages, and shortages in the middle of a stagflationary crisis are a very bad thing. Sanctions against Russia affect around 10% of the global oil market and around 12% of global natural gas consumption. But so far, all that oil and natural gas is still flowing around the world. Only the trade routes have changed. The Middle East, on the other hand, accounts for over 35% of the global oil market and 80% of the natural gas market. Widespread chaos in this region would mean economic crisis on a scale not seen in a century. Think we have problems with stagflation now? Just wait until the energy prices go to the moon. Around 30% of all export travel through the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow passage which a nation like Iran can easily block for months at a time. Sinking a few larger vessels in the strait would obstruct all cargo ship traffic, and oil tanker traffic. Trying to clean up the mess would be difficult because artillery, which is almost impossible to intercept, can rain down from Iran on any vessels trying to drag sunken ships out of the way. Iran has mutual defense pacts with multiple governments in the region, including Lebanon and Iran, along with military ties to Russia. The Turkish government is unlikely to allow Western troops to use their airspace to launch attacks. The U.S. military presence in Afghanistan is gone, and the Iraqi government would never allow foreign troops to use their land to come to the aid of Israel. This greatly limits the West's launch point of an offensive large enough to blitz Iran. The vast majority of attacks would be from the air, and if Russia starts supplying Iran with better radar and missile technology, then there's no guarantees Israel or the U.S. will gain full control of the airspace. In other words, if a wider war breaks out, it will not end for years, and is going to be fought on the ground. Of course, the most establishment experts have claimed that the situation that will never escalate to that point, and to the threat of direct confrontation between Israel and Iran is minimal. I've been predicting the opposite for a number of reasons, just as I predicted that there was a high chance of war in Ukraine months before it happened. In October of 2023, in my article, It's a Trap, a wave of repercussions as the Middle East fights the last war, I warned that a multiple front war was about to develop between Israel and various Muslim nations, including Lebanon and Iran. I noted Israel is going to pound Gaza into gravel. There is no doubt about that. A ground invasion will meet far more resistance than the Israelis seem to expect. But Israel controls the air, and Gaza is a fixed target with limited territory. The problem for them is not the Palestinians, but the multiple war fronts that will open up if they do what I think they're about to do, attempted sanitation. Lebanon, Iran, and Syria will immediately engage, and Israel will not be able to fight them all. My purpose in that article was to outline the dangers of U.S. involvement in a larger war that would require conscription and escalation with Russia. Despite the experts insisting that the odds are overblown, it now appears that the stage of escalation is about to begin. Iran, Lebanon, and Israel have been exchanging limited fire for months now. This is nothing new. What is new is a change in tone after Hezbollah rocket strike on a children's soccer game in a remote Druze village of Majdal Shams that killed 12. On the other side, Israel's brazen assassination of the Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh on Iranian soil this week is a clear catalyst for war. Haniyeh has been engaged in a diplomatic mission to start peace negotiations in Gaza. His assassination sends a clear message that Israel has no intention of entering into talks with Hamas. It happens so many times. Think about that, folks. It's like the same old playbook, according to this his article. IDF officials also announced that they killed top Hezbollah military commander Fouad Shukr in a precision missile strike Tuesday in Beirut. There is no escaping it now. Iran's supreme religious leaders Ayatollah al-Khamenei has ordered retaliation against Israel and issued an order for Iran to strike the Israelis directly. Iran will likely use extended missile barrages, but also stage troops in Syria and Lebanon. The Houthis in Yemen will then increase their attacks on ships traversing the Red Sea. It's hard to see how much Russia will involve itself at first, but I have no doubt more advanced Russian missiles and other weapons will make an appearance on the battlefield. The prospect of world war is immense. Israel will not be able to fight in Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, and Iran at the same time. Energy exports in the region will definitely face a slowdown, if not a complete breakdown. At that point, war won't just be about Israel, it will be about global energy crisis. I don't see any scenario in which the government doesn't get involved. High risk of terrorism that entails should not be overlooked. We've had an undefended border and record illegal crossings for a few years now under Biden. There's not telling how many foreign agents are in the country, and I believe this was by design. I think the establishment maintained open border policies because they wanted such people here. More terror these agents cause, the more public will be tempted to increase government powers to deal with the attacks. Beyond that, the political left in the West has tied itself to the Palestinian wagon as if it's their business. In reality, the leftist views the war in Gaza is just another vehicle for their outrage. They use minorities, they use gays, now they're using Muslims. It's a classic Marxist strategy or hijacking the social causes of other groups and co-opting their momentum. So, remember, folks, you got individuals out there that the real deal, and you have opportunists, okay? That's just the belly of that's the nature of the beast, okay? Gaza is just another excuse for progressive spactics to riot and start burning more of the West down, their true goal. Anyone that opposes them will automatically be accused of being a Zionist sympathizer, even if Israel is not their concern. So there will surely be Muslim terror attacks, but also civil conflicts triggered by leftists exploiting the situation to their advantage. The timing of the events in tandem with the election is definitely not coincidental. Whoever ends up in office will essentially be stuck with the war, inheriting a disaster from day one. Once U.S. forces are committed to an allied effort, there's no chance any president, including Trump, will put those forces out. If things get bad enough, there might not even be an election in November. For those that we can win on multiple fronts, the truth might shock you. Eric Edelman, who serves as a vice chair of the U.S. National Defense Strategy Commission, has given warning about the impending conflict, stating, there is a potential for near-term war and a potential that we might lose such a conflict. We need our allies to produce more. Our defense industrial base is in very bad shape. The European defense industrial base is even in worse shape. We need our industrial base, their base, and the industrial base of our Pacific allies, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan. They all need to be stepping up because to match what Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea are doing is beyond our ability to do it ourselves. I have written about the logistical shortcomings of the West in a World War III scenario for some time now. At the top of the list will be manpower, just as we've seen in Ukraine. This is why we've been hearing military and political officials hint about new draft over the past 2 years. They know what's coming. A draft to fight for globalist causes is unacceptable. I'm not going to delve into debate over what is right or wrong for Western countries to throw their weight behind Israel. Frankly, I don't care about the argument. I don't have anything invested in either side of the conflict. I care about Americans, and I know that making the U.S. military the go-to solution to the Middle East problem is going to end with a lot of dead Americans. I also know that expanding crisis will make certain special interest globalists very happy, as I noted last year. The establishment seems particularly obsessed with convincing U.S. conservatives and patriots to participate in the chaos. There are a number of neocons and even few supposed liberty media personalities calling for Americans to answer the call of blood in Israel. Some have described the coming conflagration as the war to end all wars. I believe that the real war is yet to truly start, and that this is the war to erase the globalists from existence. They want us to fight overseas and endless quagmires in the hopes we will die out. And when we do, there will be no left to oppose them. The trap has just been set. We'll have to wait and observe the scale of the response from Lebanon and Iran, but I believe the worst case scenario is at hand. There are multiple power keg events in progress around the world right now, but the Middle East situation looks to be the most disastrous by far in terms of how it will affect the United States. Oh, yes. This is what happens when you have foreign powers, influences, the Rothschilds, the banksters, the order. They don't want to see many people die so they can control. Well, the COVID jab is just one step. Now they want to do a full-fledged war because a lot of people are figuring this out. And of course, you're going to have the doubtful Thomases that will belly up and be subservient to the state. Even Albert Pike predicted about the World War III around 1875, I think it was. War is a dogma. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. But, yep. That's one thing, folks. They want this one world order so bad. And the technocrats want to rule over us, but they have all these little political bobbleheads. It's not more than puppets. It could be even with presidential races with Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Something to think about. Even going on in Venezuela. A lot of insanity as usual. I know in Israel, the popular ratings are very low. The folks there can't stand the man. But in D.C., they all wants to kiss his ring. Shit. But one thing I know for sure is it's part of the spiritual warfare. They all want us to submit and bow to their feet. The beast system, that's all it is. All right, I'm going to do one more here. You only get this through subscription. This came from AmericanFreePress.net. It's okay, baby. Yeah, I got to see my dog's trying to play here. And it's written by Jose Nino. Why Kamala Harris presidency would be a disaster for America. After sitting President Joe Biden ended his re-election campaign on July 21st, 2024, Kamala Harris appears to be the ostensive nominee for the Democratic Party. Any illusion of democracy was completely erased, with the party insiders effectively launching a coup against Biden in total opposition to over 14 million voters who pulled the lever for him in the Democratic primaries. In a Substack post entitled Leaving Las Vegas, award-winning journalist Seymour Hersh made the case that former President Barack Obama threatened Biden with the 25th Amendment. Under this amendment, the vice president and the cabinet have the power to remove the president if he seems incapable of faithfully executing his duties. Obama apparently had reached an agreement with Harris to invoke the 25th Amendment should he have stayed in the presidential race. Biden's decision to quickly endorse Harris as a Democrat's presidential candidate was largely the result of this consistent pressure. Indeed, Harris is no upgrade over Biden. Sure, she is more mentally fit and younger than her boss, but she will certainly continue some of the worst policies that the Biden regime has routinely advocated for. Harris will try to distance herself from Biden as much as possible. However, her time as a U.S. Senator and her capacity as vice president demonstrated that she was largely on the same page. The puppet president. For one, she was right next to Biden as his mental and physical state deteriorated. Despite Biden's obvious decline, she issued multiple statements arguing that Biden could serve as president. One of the main reasons prompting Democratic elites to discard Biden as the main option for the 2024 presidential election was belief that this dilapidated state would hurt Democrats' electoral prospects in November. If you're a pro-lifer, a Harris presidency would be a disaster. During a sit-down interview with CBS's Margaret Brennan, Harris did not provide any specific information about what abortion limits she would support. Her refusal not to provide any limits to the abortion policies she supports is in line with her legislative record as a senator from 2017 to 2021. In 2017 and 2019, Harris was a co-sponsor of the Democrats' trademark abortion legislation, Women's Health Protection Act. This would have imposed a national abortion mandate for all trimester abortions. A Harris administration would make abortion on demand and taxpayer-funded abortions for the norm. Democrats have completely abandoned their pro-labor constituency and have gone all with mass migration to appease corporate donors and create new non-white voter groups. And on the immigration front, Harris is on open borders booster extraordinaire and can be counted to undermine U.S. sovereignty. During her ill-fated presidential run in 2020, Harris was pushing for the government to fully subsidize illegal alien invaders' lifestyles. In an internet interview with CNN host Jake Tapper in 2019, Harris declared, "I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being from access to public safety, public education, or public health, period." As vice president, Harris remained faithful to the Democrats' open borders agenda. Biden trapped Harris to be the regime's border czar in 2021, which that's from Alejandro Mayorkas' job from Homeland Security. Okay, so the whole thing was a sham from the beginning. However, she took her sweet time before going down to the southern border with Mexico, the epicenter of the nation's mass migration crisis. Certain reports indicated that Harris didn't even bother to talk with Border Patrol leaders about the deteriorating situation at the southern border. This is life in the neo-American Democratic Party. On foreign policy issues, the Democratic Party is merely the left wing of the interventionist bird of prey that dominates U.S. foreign policy. As vice president, Harris has been in agreement with Biden's policies to dole out economic military aid to Ukraine. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine on February 24, 2022, Harris had repeatedly spewed out platitudes about defending Ukrainian democracy and keeping America's proxy war against Russia going forever. As the Munich Security Conference in 2023, let me just bring this. Yeah, there you go. In 2023, hold on here. Shoot. One moment, folks. Hold on there. Looks like I goofed here. I'm okay. All right, I'll start from the paragraph again. At the Munich Security Conference in 2023, Harris proclaimed that the international community has both a moral and strategic interest in holding Russia accountable for war crimes that it has allegedly committed. Russian forces have pursued a widespread and systemic attack against a civilian population, gruesome acts of murder, torture, rape, and deportation, Harris stated. Given the strong degree of the continuity in American foreign policy decision-making, Harris will likely continue the Biden's regime grand strategy of trying to contain China's ambitions in East Asia. While she served in the Senate, Harris was the key sponsor in the legislative efforts to sanction Hong Kong officials and other individuals responsible for the alleged human rights abuses in the Zhejiang province. Harris has marketed herself as a law and order candidate who is tough on crime. She cites her time as a district attorney of San Francisco and California's attorney general as proof that she committed to upholding the rule of law and putting criminals behind bars. However, a careful review of her time in office demonstrates that she was committed to promoting a soft on crime agenda that privileged criminals, at the expense of everyday Americans. According to the report in the New York Post, Harris presided over a job program in San Francisco that let illegal aliens arrested for drug crimes receive job training and have their criminal records expunged. One individual she selected for the program was Alexander Asguiar, an illegal alien from Honduras who allegedly brutally assaulted a young woman, leaving her with a skull fracture and a long-term trauma. The DA's office selected Asguiar for the program after he was arrested on 2 occasions within this time span of 8 months for allegedly stealing a purse and selling cocaine, as per Los Angeles Times report. In July 2008, while working in the Back on Track program, Asguiar stole the purse of Amanda Kiefer, a resident of San Francisco who was walking with her friend. Sorry about that. Walking with her friend. Let me see here. Sorry about that, folks. Wow. I'll be right back here. Oh, sorry about that, folks. Had a little mess here, but nothing disastrous. That's when you have a bunch of dogs in the house, but that's all well and good. All right, so I'm just trying to see where I left off here. In July 2008, while working in the Back on Track program, Izaguirre stole the purse of Amanda Kiefer, a resident of San Francisco who was walking with her best friend to a restaurant in the Pacific Heights area. After grabbing her purse, Izaguirre entered an SUV and tried to run her over. According to law enforcement reports of the crime, Kiefer got into the hood of the vehicle and Izaguirre hit the brakes, which resulted in Kiefer being thrown on the road and fracturing her skull. Throughout her stint as San Francisco DA from 2004 to 2011, Harris backed sanctuary city policy. She stated in 2006, "We are a sanctuary city, a city of refuge, and always will be." Fast forward to the George Floyd mania of the summer of 2020. Harris used her Senate social media account to encourage her followers to donate a bail fund for rioters who tore up cities nationwide. Some of the people who are bailed out in June of that summer were accused rapists, criminals with long rap sheets, and looters. As part of the Democrats' new class, Harris is firmly committed to depossessing white Americans. Reparations plans have become one of the most popular proposals pushed forward by Democrats in recent years. Well, start with Ghana. Okay, they did trades with the Europeans, and some of them were Jews, to bring them over to America. All right, start with Ghana. Sorry about that. Let's keep on going. The controversial nature of such plans has naturally provoked major backlash among more moderate voters, thereby compelling Democrats to pursue more gradualist, race-based redistribution measures. During Harris's failed presidential campaign of 2020, she wrote out a plan where the government would hand out $100 billion subsidy to black families with the aim of encouraging home owners. She asserted that such a race-based redistribution measure would make up for generations of discrimination. There was once a point when the Democratic Party had a diversity of views on issues pertaining to the right to bear arms. One will count on Blue Dog Democrats and now extinct species of Southern Democrats to provide a nominal defense of the Second Amendment. However, with the cultural left pushing out many white male moderate figures from the party, Democrats can now be counted to serve as the loyal servants of Gun Control Inc. Harris has been no exception to this trend. During debates in the 2020 Democratic Party primaries, Harris threatened to use executive action on firearms if Congress failed to pass the most comprehensive background check policy we had. After Biden stepped down from his re-election campaign, Harris immediately went to the campaign trail to push for the passage of universal background checks and assault weapons bans. In a campaign speech she gave in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on July 23, 2024, Harris declared, "Every person in our nation should have the freedom to live safe from the terror of gun violence. Gun Control Inc. can count on Harris to push for civilian disarmament measures." Harris is a swamp creature through and through. In many respects, her multiracial background of being Jamaican and Indian extraction makes her a perfect fit in modern-day Democratic Party that is made up of all manner of social deviants. In many ways, this party represents a post-American constituency that has no connection to the nation's founding stock and the subsequent European migrant waves that played an integral role in the building the country. Should no shenanigans transpire during the Democratic convention slated for August 19th to the 22nd, Harris will be the Democratic nominee. There is no question the corporate media will give her favorable press, with big tech giving her a boost as it tries to censor any individuals who try to expose her globalist anti-American track record. There will also be efforts to fortify the election i.e. rig in Harris's favor through various methods of election tampering and outright fraud. The right must be prepared for globalist forces to overthrow everything but the kitchen sink at them. Make no mistake about it. A Harris victory would only accelerate America's descent into multicultural chaos. Based on her track record, it's very self-explanatory. And we got Jarvis Flyby. Jarvis Flyby. Enter the studio. Hope I pronounced it correctly. Thank you for checking in. Oh my goodness. It's just one thing I always tell people. Always judge them by their merits. And we all know, too, Kamala Harris is not a natural-born citizen. So does that make you racist? No. Sexist? No. It's all on its face. All you got to do is read Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 9, about violating the law of nations, and look at that law of nations. Examine Section 212. It tells you what a natural-born citizen is. So it's considered international law, by the way. Okay, so I've shared this multiple times in my past episodes. People have to take the initiative to check it out. Harris is null and void, and 2, she should be charged for treason and RICO. Plain and simple. She's want to put a war on the American people. It looks like all these clowns are trying to, maybe surpass Abraham Lincoln, because I know Abe Lincoln wasn't that popular during his time, according to my homework. But I know he did want to reconcile with the southern states. And, of course, you got opportunists and carpetbaggers that didn't want that. So politics is a dirty game, my friends. A very blasphemous institution. It's like Rome 2.0. That's what happens when you don't study history, my friends, and let the mainstream garbage media tell you how to think, live, and wipe your own butt. Media manipulation is dangerous. And many non-combatants suffered from it. Being scapegoated, witch hunted, and all that. Kamala Harris is null and void. She was never a vice president, just a bawd in power. Which, I want to say bawd in power. A bawd that was owned, tagged, and branded. Another peasant to the higher-ups. That's my intake on this. And sorry for the delay. Once again, I'd thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share this right your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or something that's interesting, check out whatever you do. Please use decorum. You can go to the email to ll3.podcast@proton.me. If you want to donate, go to paypal.me or cash.app/look3. If you want to subscribe to American Free Press and support Brandon Smith, that'll be great. And that's all. Once again, thank you for your time. But always remember that the demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. And may your guardian spirits be with you.